Hello, friends and family of Grace Lutheran Church. I am here to talk to you guys today about our hymn of the day for the sixth Sunday after Pentecost. It is called One Thing's Needful, and it's number 536 in the Lutheran Service Book. Now, this is a good German Lutheran hymn. It's written by a German Lutheran pastor by the name of Johann Heinrich Schroeder, and it is set to a tune by another German named Adam Krieger. Now, the tune was written before the hymn, but the two are so closely related that the tune actually takes the hymn's name. The German name for the tune is Eins ist Not, and that's actually the first three words of the original German text for this hymn. Now let's talk for a minute about that original German text. We have 5 verses in this hymn listed out in our hymnal. If we go to the original German text, there are 10 verses. And if we look at the Lutheran hymnal, the red one, TLH, we see that there are 7 verses of that original German text in here translated into English. Now, I was unable to find a full set of all 10 verses translated into English, but using my very minimal German skills, but my very abundant Google Translate skills, I was looking at those 10 verses, the original verses, and even the 7 that are translated into English in the Lutheran hymnal. And while all 10 verses are, theologically sound Lutheran verses, there are kind of 2 sets of themes in the original hymn. We've got half of the verses that really talk about Christ's work for us and Christ's word for us, and then the other half that focus on our response to that work and our response to that word. I think what they've done, don't quote me on this, you can write a letter to the editors of the Lutheran Service Book, but I think what they've done is they've gone through and they've chosen the 5 verses that are most related to Christ's work for us, and specifically to Christ's word for us. And that makes this a very fitting hymn for this Sunday. If we look at the second verse of our hymn here, we see that it is in italics. Which might make us curious. So we go down to the bottom of the page and we see that there is a note in italics as well. It says, stanza 2 may be reserved for occasions when Luke 10:38 through 42 is read. This is our bulletin for this Sunday. If we take a look at the gospel reading, we see that it is in fact Luke 10 verses 38 through 42. How perfect to be using this hymn. So, as you may have guessed when I even said the title of this hymn, One Thing's Needful, the story from Luke chapter 10 is about Mary and Martha. And at the end of our story, we hear Jesus talking to Martha, who's running around and getting everything ready while Mary sits at Jesus' feet listening to him. And he says to Martha, "You are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful," or one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. I want to read for you guys just verse 2 to send you off into the rest of your evening here. Verse 2, which is all about this story from Luke, says, "How were Mary's thoughts devoted, her eternal joy to find, as intent each word she noted, at her Savior's feet reclined. How kindled her heart, how devout was its feeling, while hearing the lessons that Christ was revealing. All earthly concerns she forgot for her Lord, and found her contentment in hearing his word." And I pray that we do the same this Sunday in church, finding our own contentment in hearing his word, and in singing this hymn about his work for us. And also with thankful hearts, right? Because we could be singing all 10 verses. So maybe I'll translate them all into English before Sunday, and I'll have Pastor Pierce tell you guys that we're going to be singing a new version. Probably not, but maybe. So is that a warning or an encouragement? Come to church.